Dipersembahkan oleh
Apa kabar pemirsa? Senang sekali saya Patricia Mapalia kembali menjumpai Anda. Pemirsa, di masa pandemi ini properti di Indonesia tetap bertumbuh dan juga bertahan. Bahkan permintaan akan properti terus bertambah setiap tahunnya. Nantina Group yang merupakan induk dari beberapa platform properti dan memiliki kekuatan teknologi terbaik, kemampuan data analisis yang kuat, dan ahli di bidang real estate yang mendalam hadir sebagai platform properti tercepat, terlengkap dan paling modern di Asia Tenggara. Nantina Group baru saja meraih pendanaan seri C sebesar 52 juta dolar Amerika. Lalu bagaimana Nantina Group menjalankan bisnisnya di Indonesia? Pemirsa, inilah 30 Minutes with CEO 99 Group selengkapnya.
dipersembahkan oleh
Dan saat ini saya sudah bersama dengan CEO 99 Group, Pak Darius Cheung. Pak Darius, thank you so much for your time. How are you?
Thank you. I'm very good.
Okay, glad to hear that. Okay, to kick off our interview today, so can you please tell us more about 99 Group? What is the mission, the vision, and of course, its main goal?
Sure, of course. The name 99 came from our goal, our mission to help the 99%, the mass population, to find their dream homes, to find their first home, to help them make the best decision, because home is such an important thing. We started in Singapore and we continue to expand. Our vision is to be in the largest Southeast Asia property platform to help the 99% make the best decision they can about buying a property.
What makes 99 Group unique compared to the other similar companies?
First and foremost, especially for Indonesia, we are actually the largest property marketplace. Now what that means is that we have the most number of listings, most number of properties being on sale or for rent on the portal. Now that, of course, for consumer, they have the best choices, because if you're finding a property, it's a very big purchase. You want to take your time, you want to look through all the possibilities, and you want to find your dream home. So 99.co and BeritaSatu together, of course, for consumers, it becomes the default platform for consumers to find their property, because it's simply, first and foremost, is the largest. And of course, on the flip side, for our property sellers, whether it is agents, developer, or even individual sellers, for them having the largest audience with over 70% of Indonesia's audience looking for property on our platforms, it means that they can have the greatest exposure and have the most number of potential buyers. That's the first point.
Okay, interesting. So how many brands are currently under 99 Group, and where do these brands operate?
Yeah, great question. Of course, we have 99.co, which operates in both Singapore and Indonesia. And in Singapore, in addition, we have acquired a company called SRX. So srx.com.sg is a data-driven platform for people who really want to do analysis, property geek. They want to analyze a lot in terms of property. And in Indonesia, of course, we have BeritaSatu, which is the leading brand in Indonesia for us.
Okay, I was wondering, the 99 Group has been operated in Singapore and Indonesia. So why Indonesia? What is the most interesting thing about Indonesia, especially in the property markets?
Oh, well, first of all, of course, it's very hard to separate the property market from the overall country. All right, I think first and foremost, the most interesting thing about Indonesia is just its economy, its potential, and the amount of growth it's going to see in the next 10 to 20 years. We saw that very clearly. We came to Indonesia 6 years ago, and we realized that Indonesia has so much potential. And on top of that, there's such a great spirit. Our team is such a great team. And they have such good spirit in terms of helping the population find their dream homes. And I think that's what's most unique about it. And of course, from an opportunity standpoint, there's a huge population that has not yet found a home. Over 10 million in backlogs, maybe 11 million in backlogs in Jabodetabek alone. Right? So a lot of people have the need. It's very, very important.
The demand is high.
The demand is very high.
Okay. Pak Darius, what does 99 Group provide to its consumers and customers so far, and what can property buyers and sellers expect when they use the 99 Group property marketplace?
Sure. As I mentioned just now, first and foremost, of course, you have the most number of listings, the most number of choices. You can find the best property. That's the most important one. Now, moving forward, we have also the reason we are able to get here is we introduce a lot of innovations. So, for example, we have introduced an affordability calculator. If you're a first-time home buyer, you're able to find out how much can you actually afford, and so that you can you can narrow down your selections to find the properties that you really, really like. And also, importantly, not to buy a property you cannot afford and stress out your financial. And secondly, we have also introduced different types of listings. For example, we realized that there's actually a lot of non-performing loan listings that is sitting with the bank. That actually a lot of consumers are very interested, but they're not listed anywhere. So we work directly with the banks and say, hey, we should list them on the portal so people can find them, and the bank is able to offload that from the balance sheet as well. So that's from the consumer standpoint. From an agent standpoint, of course, first I also mentioned just now, they get the most number of leads from 99 and Rumah 123. But on top of that, we also have many programs to help upgrade their capabilities. So for example, we have introduced a listing score to really rank listings to make sure that, hey, listings with better photos and so better descriptions, which actually appeals more to consumers, they get a better ranking. But we don't stop there. We realize that many agents, they want to be able to do a better job. They want to be able to attract more buyers, but they don't know how. So we have recently just launched Agent Academy, where we put together 6 master classes from everything from copywriting to photography to help actually improve the quality of supply, if you will, on a marketplace.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, but Darius, is there any plan that 99 Groups would expand the market outside Indonesia and Singapore in Southeast Asia?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, our dream is to be the largest in Southeast Asia and really be able to bring our technology to serve all the population, 600 million in population in Southeast Asia. We are actually in the middle of expanding into a new country and hope to announce that soon.
Okay, so what new market or countries or innovation that 99 Group is focusing on developing so far?
Yeah, from an innovation standpoint, what we're developing, and you would see this coming soon to Indonesia, is what today in Singapore very, very popular, what we call X value. Right? X value, it is a tool to estimate what the price for a property is. You put in an address, you can get an estimate of what this price should be. Because today, there's very little data and transparency in the property market. So what that means is that seller always want to sell for more, buyer always want to buy for less.
Yes.
And if there was an agent in between, the agent is always stuck. So being able to introduce this tool helps bring all the parties together and say that, okay, this is the fair price. This is actually very, very popular in Singapore. For every transaction that happens in the market in Singapore, this tool is used 12 times. It's used over 2 million times every year. Now we are very excited to bring that to Indonesia. And that's just a start. And of course, we have many other innovations as well.
We're going to talk more about that in the next segment. Sure. We have to break now. So pemirsa, tetaplah bersama kami. 30 Minutes with CEO 99 Group akan kembali usai jeda. Dan pemirsa, kembali lagi dalam 30 Minutes with Darius Cheung, CEO 99 Group. Pak Darius will continue in this segment. So what are some innovations that have been invented by the 99 Group so far, especially for the real estate industry in Indonesia?
Yeah, I mentioned just now we have X value, which is a price estimation tool. So that's going to be a cornerstone moving forward. But beyond that, one of the things that we always dream about is that now we have a marketplace. Yes, it's the best marketplace for buyers to find properties and for sellers to find buyers. But we have not fundamentally changed how the market works. And more importantly, as you very well know, property is getting more and more expensive.
Yes.
Its price is increasing faster than income. And there's a very big backlog. And interestingly, there is actually a lot of supply. This is not a situation where there's no supply. There is a lot of supply, a lot of developers, a lot of units being built, a lot of supply in the secondary market. The challenge is affordability. So then our dream is to really think about how can we fundamentally change affordability. This range from thinking about how somebody who may not be approved for a bank loan today, how can we help them to get bank loan approved and help the banks understand the credit worthiness of a customer, all the way to perhaps there are fundamentally different ways of financing a millennial, for example, to buy a property. And of course, we can't do this alone. We work with many, many partners, with banks, with other financing companies, even with companies, and for the employees to think about how can we help create affordability and home ownership for the population.
Okay, as an information, so how does 99 Group help buyers, especially first-time buyers for the property, in finding their right property? The first, probably, it's going to be hard to choose which one is good, which one is better for myself. So how does 99 Group help those people, the first buyer of property?
Yeah, we do a lot. It's the topic that's closest to our heart. So we definitely do a lot. It's where we invest the most of our effort. Buying your first property is challenging. It's because it's a very big purchase. It's probably the biggest purchase a millennial would ever make.
Yep.
and it's a big part of the income. It's a big part of the income that will go into financing this purchase. So which is why and it's a long journey. It typically takes somebody 3 to 6 months to buy their first property. From they start learning about property, what is financing, what is KPR mortgage, all the way to actually looking for listings, right? Looking for listings is already 3 steps down, right? Looking for listings, viewing, negotiating, and finally buying. This is a long process. So we have done a lot of work throughout this process, from writing contents to educate, to creating, for example, recently launched an affordability calculator, I mentioned just now, that help them really calculate what they can afford, such that they can see that, okay, well, if this is what I can afford, then these are the listings that I can get, to really helping them. One more I didn't mention just now. We have a mortgage calculator to help them calculate, okay, if I buy this property, how much do I pay every month? And on top of that, we partner with many, many banks to actually provide live interest rates so you know what you actually have to pay today in terms of interest rate. And that actually allows them to really figure out the entire journey. So it's a very, very big operation for us.
So is there any tips for those who are looking for the first property, especially here in Indonesia?
I would say find something you can afford, but do it fast, because property prices are going up. It always will. Yes, I think in the history of humanity, property prices always gone up. This is 8,000 years of history, right? But so the faster, the earlier you act, probably the better it is. Just don't stretch yourself too much.
Can we say that this is the right time to buying the property, just in case for the millennials who are looking for probably their first property, just in case they need to sell it for the several years from now, because the price is going up and higher? Is that so?
In general, I would say it's always good to invest a portion of income in property. That's the traditional wisdom. But specific to today, I would say it as extra yes, because interest rate is likely to rise up. And it is probably good to lock in an interest rate now before it increases. So the mortgage you have to pay will be less. So the answer is a resounding yes.
Okay, Pak Darius, so how does the 99 Group see the market challenges in Indonesia if we compare to another country in Southeast Asia?
Yeah, certainly. There's a lot of challenges, but we see challenges as opportunities. I mentioned just now there's over 10 million in backlog in terms of people looking for housing. The interesting thing and unique to Indonesia is there's both a lot of demand and a lot of supply. The process is broken. It's not that there's no demand or no supply. Both are there. The process is broken. As a marketplace, then our challenges is in how can we facilitate this process, starting from the beginning, the foundation, just finding each other. For those who can afford, those who can sell, they can find each other, to really changing the transaction itself altogether. I think over the next few years, you will see us investing and creating in partnership many products that actually fundamentally changes how the transaction is done, how properties are being financed, and make it hopefully more affordable for the millennials.
Okay, but how do you see the property market or the real estate market in Indonesia, especially amidst this pandemic?
Yeah, certainly. We have I would say this is endemic now. We are just getting out of the pandemic. Transition. There is a lot of optimism. You can clearly see economy is improving. The last time I was here in Jakarta was maybe about 3 years ago. And it was so surprising to me. Today, the traffic jam is worse than 3 years ago. But the good side is economy is definitely coming back. It's definitely growing. Now, throughout the pandemic, for us in our industry, one of the challenges is there's a lot of lockdowns on and off. You can't visit the houses, you can do site viewings, developers, sales gallery sometimes have to be shut down. So that makes it very challenging to buy a property from a process standpoint. And there's also a lot of volatility. People don't know whether they're going to keep their jobs and whether they can afford it, so they don't dare to buy. So what happened is that there is a lot of pent-up demand that would have otherwise bought in the last 2 years. And at the same time, construction continued to happen, so there's a lot of pent-up supply. And this is a unique situation that we've never seen before. So what this creates is actually a very unique situation where a lot of the supply side is working very, very hard, including in partnership with us. How do they restructure the product such that it's actually suitable for the pent-up demand, including making it more affordable, more accessible, sometimes changing habits, changing configurations. There's a lot more work from home, work from anywhere. Sometimes we see developers building more facilities into their property just to cater for this audience. So definitely there's a lot of changes, a lot of challenges that the pandemic brought, but also a lot of opportunities.
Okay. Pak Darius, we have to break. We can go to the next segment. Pemirsa, tetaplah bersama kami 30 Minutes with CEO 99 Group segera kembali usai jeda. Dan pemirsa, terima kasih Anda masih bersama kami dalam 30 Minutes with Darius Cheung, CEO 99 Group. Pak Darius, will continue in this segment. So, how do you see the 99 Group's development in the future? How do you see the company in 5 years?
Oh, wow. That's a big question. I mentioned a few things just now. Certainly to expand into more countries, but more importantly for us is really solving the problem. I think we would invest a lot more in Indonesia market because there's so much challenges and so much opportunities for us. So there's, whether it is from technology innovation that really makes better software, better tools on the internet for people to use, to really changing the transaction financing and so on. I think certainly there are many work to be done over there. As a whole, as a company, we'll grow definitely. We're very excited to grow our employee base here. In fact, a lot of our employees here in Indonesia is doing work for the regional, to help us expand into new countries. And we hope to continue to grow as a company.
Okay, we're looking to it. So, Pak Darius, let us get more personal.
Sure.
You as the CEO of 99 Group. So, you have an extensive professional experience in technology industry, right? And what made you decide to create a property marketplace platform with 99.com? What's your vision exactly?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. What you really mean is that I was a geek. And I am. I'm trained as an engineer.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a software developer. And I've been all my life. And the last company I founded was a software security company. If we did our job, nobody noticed us.
Yeah.
Right? That's what doing a good job is. So today I wanted to do, since I sold the company, what I wanted to do is something that really touches people's life. And I became a homeowner. I wanted to start my own family and realize how important home is. And that's why I wanted to do this, because it is meaningful.
Okay, interesting. From geek to CEO of 99 Group. Okay, Pak Darius, what are the goals of 99 Group until the end of this year, 2022, and how do you see the business projection in 2023?
That's an interesting question. We have grown a lot throughout the pandemic, thank God, and then we have actually grown 8x in our sales in the last 3 years and 4x in our traffic in the last 3 years as well. We hope to continue the trajectory. We'll leave it at that.
Okay. Is there any plan or expansion that will go in this year, in 2022?
Yeah, we are absolutely focused on Indonesia. To be quite honest, there are so many cities, so many areas that we have yet to go into. Indonesia is such a large country, right? We are very excited with our expansion team, who is going into new cities, reaching out into areas that previously we have not touched yet, and also we had plans for, but could not get to because of the pandemic. Because we're now coming to a close of the pandemic, so fingers crossed. Hopefully we get to do that very efficiently moving forward. So
there will be another series that will be entered in Indonesia?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Today we have offices in Jakarta, in Bandung and Surabaya. So as you can imagine, so many more to go.
Okay, what will you do in the midst of this pandemic? Does the 99 Group do in the midst of the pandemic and the transition to endemic? What is the biggest plan for this transition?
The biggest plan for this transition, internally, I think it's all very normal. We have now moving from fully work from home to a hybrid, and then from external standpoint, really for the marketplace for property markets is really helping the supply side understand the demand side. I think there's a lot of communication that's happening today. Most of our work, most of our time that we spend today is really trying to figure out what the demand side is looking for. Sometimes they're moving. Interestingly, there's a trend of moving back into the city as well. As much as there are people moving out of the city, there are more people moving into the city at the same time, and helping the supply side, such as developers, agents, home sellers, homeowners, understand that and really cater to the needs of the buyers.
Okay, one last question. So, what will the 99 Group does until the end of this year, 2022? What is the biggest challenge they may face in this year, in 2022? The biggest challenge, at least until this year.
I would say building and expanding the team. Yeah, I think I think we're not the unique ones in seeing the opportunity in Indonesia across the many sectors outside of property. Right, we compete with many of them for talent, and so I think recruiting a team and expanding it, that would be the biggest challenge for us.
Okay. Pak Darius, we are looking forward to the development and innovation of 99 Group. Good luck.
Thank
you
you
so much for being here. Stay safe and keep healthy.
Thank you for having me.
Dan pemirsa, demikianlah 30 Minutes with Darius Cheung, CEO 99 Group. Atas nama seluruh kerabat kerja yang bertugas, saya Patricia Mapali pamit undur diri. Terima kasih. Sampai jumpa.
Dipersembahkan oleh